So when I first started covering Jack and Lily's case, I did actually warn people about grifters and scammers who had jumped onto the case. I made sure to definitely highlight Joseph Morris due to his history on YouTube of scamming people, clickbaiting, and just basically creating fake content. The fake videos in the Gabby Petito case, which had people believing that Brian Laundrie was alive and had accidentally gone live on Instagram for a few seconds. The fake Poshmark listings in the Kylie Rodney case that had people believing that someone was selling Kylie's gold necklace and her sweater on Poshmark. And of course, the big kahuna, the fake audio in the Idaho 4 case, where he made it sound like you could actually hear the cries of one of those beautiful young people as they were being ended by Brian Koberger. I well and truly warned people about Joseph Morris. I even pointed out in this case instances where things appeared to be scams and he appeared to be at the centre of it. Of course, I also mentioned the Summer Wells crowd, the handful of channels who persisted in covering Summer Wells' case and turning it into a circus, turning it into something akin to Days of Our Lives, where they introduce all these additional characters who supposedly have connections to the case and who have all these fantastical stories to share that actually make it clear that, well, this is what might have happened to Summer Wells. Funnily enough, that's what's happening here. All of a sudden, we have these characters coming out of the woodwork who are somehow supposedly connected to the case with their stories that really don't hold up to scrutiny. And then you have messages that apparently occurred between people that are apparently real because they're published on Facebook, so they must be real. You even have one of those creators having created his very own Jack and Lily page so that he can control the narrative there. And guess who is commenting on his Jack and Lily page? None other than Daniel Martell. Allegedly. My point is here that there is a lot of scamming going on with this case. People seem to have forgotten the actual facts that they've been told. And I've mentioned this in a previous video. The whole purpose of these short videos that I'm doing are to remind people of the facts and also to correct misinformation. We've been told by the Mounties that unless the information comes from them, then probably we shouldn't be paying attention to that information. I'm going to add to that and say that when someone like Joseph Morris or Dolly Vision is all over something, then you should probably question the credibility of what it is they are pushing onto you. In this video, I'm specifically going to address two different photos. One is the photo that is supposed to be Malaya at the beach just recently. And the other is the photo which supposedly proves that Daniel got to see Meadow. I'm going to tell you now, you've been, if you believe those photos, you've been deceived. So let's jump in and take a look, shall we? So let's start with this photo of Malaya at the beach. Now, I bet you can't guess where this originates from.
Jack and Lily's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, was caught on Snapchat at the beach. Jill Moore wrote, quote, "Nothing towards my cousin, but could you imagine your kids missing and instead of helping and doing everything in your power to find them, you're on the beach happy as a clam?"
Yes, of course, it comes from Joseph Morris. Now, it's possible that it may not have originated with Joseph Morris, But of course we can't verify the origins of this because Joseph Morris never cites his sources. He's very careful to not do so that people can't prove him wrong. So that people can't check for themselves that something is real and not yet another Joseph Morris fabrication. Of course, we also can't rule out the possibility that someone connected with Daniel has put this post out. Because to me it looks like the image is a digital photo of a physical photo. And I'll show you what I mean shortly. So who might have access to photos belonging to Malaya of her and her friends? Give you one guess. Daniel Martel. So it seems that both possible sources of this photo, when you look at them, neither one is overly credible. Once again, I've not found any evidence of it existing up until the time it was put out there by Joseph Morris. However, it's got to come from somewhere. I'd like to know where it originally came from, because I strongly suspect that it was not put out there by Malaya's friend Cheryl. Once again, this makes me question who might know the name of this woman, because I've verified that is actually her identity, and who might have access to these photos. Now, when you look at Joseph Morris's video, there are comments to accompany it, which are supposed to verify that it is all legitimate. That actually, yes, Malaya was at the beach with her friend, and this was the response her friend gave, basically saying, well, she's entitled to a bit of relaxation time because of all the stress she's under. But those comments, I've not seen them anywhere other than Joseph Morris. They have, of course, since been shared on Facebook and been shared by other YouTube creators. But when you look back, you find the origins straight back to Joseph Morris. So who posted them on Facebook first? Normally, I would block out the name of the person responsible for posting. But like I said, given that the origins of this seem to trace directly back to Joseph Morris, I'm going to show the name of the person who posted it subsequently on Facebook. Seems kind of clear that this person is enjoying being part of the drama, sharing the screenshots of, well, the apparent screenshots of this conversation. So I have been able to confirm that this Cheryl person actually is a friend of Malaya's. And if she did post this photo, then she's a pretty scummy friend. But since we can't actually go back to the original post by this Cheryl, then my question is, was it her or was it someone who has got hold of this photo and shared it and made up the accompanying text? So I'm going to start by bringing up a larger, closer version of this photo. And I just want to remind you yet again that the first person sharing this was Joseph Morris. Although there also now appears to be a clean version of the image circulating, which is not a screenshot from Joseph Morris's video, meaning that someone has shared the original. Was it Joseph Morris sharing it, or was it someone who had the original photo and shared it with Joseph Morris, who then subsequently put it out there in social media? Either way, to me that says that seriously diminishes the credibility of this photo even before you start to look at it. Okay, so let's start by addressing the picture quality. This is not a digital photo. This is a digital photo of a printed photo. You can see all the imperfections in the paper, the imperfections that usually occur when someone's had a photo sitting somewhere on display over a number of years. This photo's probably been sitting on a pinboard somewhere for the past 10 years. It's got all those white bits on it that you usually see from a photo that's been sitting out and has begun to deteriorate. But honestly, you just have to look at the quality of the image to see that it's not a digital photo. Look at the water behind them. Look at the land behind them. Just look at the colouring and the texture of the photo. So if it actually was posted by this Cheryl onto Snapchat on the 27th of June, then it's been posted as a digital photo that's been taken of a physical photo. Which would mean that this Cheryl did it intentionally to discredit Malaya. In which case, I hope Malaya never speaks to her again, if that is indeed the case. And of course, I hope that someone makes Malaya aware of the fact that she can take legal actions. She can sue this individual for putting this image out, should she so wish. However, if this is something that someone has gotten hold of and subsequently used it to create a fake post, then I apologise to this woman that she's been taken advantage of in such a horrible way. Now, like I said, I know she's a friend of Malaya's. I've looked at her Facebook account. I've also done a bit of digging, found the connections, and I also heard her on some little channel, I can't even remember the name of it, where she went on some time back and spoke on that channel trying to stand up for Malaya. It appears that maybe someone discovered her identity through listening to that channel and went hunting and found this image. Now, like I said, at this point in time, the origins of this photo seem to be Joseph Morris, although the question remains, where did he find it in the first place? Was it given to him, or did he find it himself? So I'm going to address Malaya first, and straight up you can see that in the photo on the left, she's actually quite a bit younger. At a guess, I'd say she's probably about 19. And if you can't actually see that difference there, I'm not sure that I can help you on this video. But let's move on from the apparent age difference and have a closer look. The easiest way to see what I'm talking about here is to examine the chin line. In the photo on the left-hand side, Malaya is significantly lighter than what she is in the photo on the right-hand side. Let's forget the fact that in this photo on the left-hand side she looks like she's maybe 19 or 20, whereas the photo on the right-hand side she looks like she has that adult spread that occurs with females when you get into your mid-20s. Because Malaya would now be around 26. And it shows. Look at the chin line. Nobody loses that much weight in a period of about 8 weeks. And if they do, they're not going to suddenly lose all their little wrinkles, and they're not going to have this sudden glowing appearance to their skin. They're certainly not going to be showing that appearance of healthy radiance that we see in the photo on the left-hand side. And of course, based on the narrative that's been put out there, from all accounts, Malaya has been inside for the last 8 weeks, hiding out. And honestly, to get that level of suntan in an 8-week period of time with skin like Malaya's, not a chance. She has that classic pale Irish skin tone that tends to burn in the sun before it even begins to start looking like it has a hint of a tan. To get a tan like that, she would have needed to have spent the entire summer out in the sunshine. Now it's possible that on the left-hand side she's got a spray tan. But then, given that she's supposed to be hiding out, do you really see her wandering off to some business somewhere to get a spray tan? Highly unlikely. No matter how you look at it, there is no way that this photo on the left-hand side is a recent photo of Malaya. Now, in case you're still unsure, let's take a look at her friend Cheryl. Again, she's considerably younger in the photo on the left-hand side. Just for starters. Skin tone, so much paler on the right-hand side. And yes, this is a recent photo of her that was taken in either April or May, and I've forgotten already. Notice again the change of the face shape. The sort of change that occurs when someone moves from their late teens, early 20s into their mid-20s. She's now got that more adult shape to her face as opposed to the teenage look. I'm guessing she's probably in her mid-20s, like Malaya. I don't think I really need to talk about this photo much more, because if you can't see it by now, then I can't help you. But it seems pretty clear to me that this photo is nothing but a hoax designed to stir up more hatred for Malaya, or to bring in more views for someone's channel. Now, as mentioned, the other photo I want to discuss is the photo of Daniel with what appears to be Meadow. And I refuse to put photos of Meadow here on this video because she's only a baby. She's got nothing to do with this case. Her face should not be all over social media. That said, if you're curious, you can always find it on Daniel's profile page, and of course some of the Facebook pages for Jack and Lily, because some of those Facebook pages seem to not care about posting an image of a child who's not even 2 years old. Now, Daniel mentioned in a recent interview that he had a visitation lined up, a supervised visitation with Meadow. So it is quite possible that that is where this photo comes from. And that he's gone and tidied himself up a bit, got a haircut to create a good impression with protective services. Of course, it's also just as possible that this photo was taken prior to Jack and Lily going missing. And I think when it comes to these sort of things, we do have to have that critical outlook, that logical outlook. Make sure that we're not just being hoodwinked and believing straight out what we're being told or what we're being shown. Now, my nieces and nephews are grown up. It's been a while since I've been around a toddler. But to me, in this photo, and like I said, I'm not going to show it here, so if you're curious, then you will need to go hunting on Facebook, or it's probably on multiple other channels. But honestly, in this photo, it looks like she could only be 12, 13 months old at the most. I have to say though, regardless of whether this is a recent photo of Daniel with Meadow, a photo taken when he had visitation, or whether it is a photo taken before the children went missing, it is still an attempt to manipulate an audience. This is all about the image. He's not concerned about his daughter's face being shown all over the internet. What we're supposed to take away from this is that A, Daniel is a pretty nice, loving father kind of guy. Look at him. He's holding his daughter. And that's his profile picture. And of course we're also supposed to take away from this that he did have that visitation that he was talking about. But by posting this image as his profile picture, this is no different from a politician kissing babies. This is PR. Don't be fooled, people. I'm sure he does love his daughter. But this image is nothing but PR. This is designed to manipulate people. This is another attempt at showing people he's the hero because he cares about his kids. Ironically, it also, regardless of which way you look at it, basically debunks the other stories that have been put out there. The story about Malaya doing a runner with Meadow and they don't know where she is. And the story that Delwood put out. Because both those stories were connected in the beginning. The story that Malaya did a runner because she was hiding her other children. And now she was with her other children with Meadow. Of course, we know that's all a load of hogwash. But if you are someone that does believe in all these crazy stories, then if you believe that this is Daniel with Meadow, taken somewhat recently, in the last couple of weeks, then that definitely discredits the stories put out by Daniel and by Durwood that people have been so obsessed with. Both the photos I've shown you today act as cautionary tales. Don't simply blindly accept what you are being told by people. Stop and take a closer look. Use a bit of logic. Use a bit of critical thinking. Don't allow yourself to be so easily manipulated by people who have their own personal agenda.